Good morning. Today I will talk about Brahmins and Thai royalty, because Brahmanism is very much alive among the royalty, and it's an important factor of keeping the love and respect that the Thais have for the royalty. The origins, we will talk today about the origins of Thai Brahmins and the Devasatan, their temple, their duties, their qualifications. We'll talk about the Devaraja principle, which the Brahmins are there to enhance the prestige and the influence of Thai kings, and how it permeates all aspects of royal life, providing a sense of awe and majesty. We will look at several Brahmin ceremonies that are practiced today on a yearly annual basis. We find that our Brahmins in Thailand originally came from the south of India, from Tamil Nadu, and they called it Jampudvipa. Whoops, the word Siam didn't come out there. From Jampudvipa to Siam. And Jampudvipa was the central continent inside 7 concentric continents in the Hindu cosmology. And the Brahmins will tell you that it also was another name for India, as they called it. They came from the Kalashnatar Brahmin temple, along with traders and others to Suvarnabhumi, which they considered the peninsula part of Southeast Asia. We also have evidence of them in Nakhon Si Thammarat, in the south of the country, and in Prasat Phnom Rung in Buriram. And both of these we find are as early as the 200 CE, which is about the same time that we find Brahmin influence entering here into Bali. One of the Brahmins told me that Brahmins have been in the area, what is today Thailand, for over 1,500 years. And how did Brahmanism spread throughout the rest of Thailand? We find that through the Indianized states of Southeast Asia, Srivijaya, Mayapahit, Funan, and later the Khmer Empire, brought it to Sukhothai. And that's why Sukhothai is important in the influence, the Brahmin influence in Thailand, because that's our first united kingdom. And Khun Ratchanok very kindly showed us the beautiful images we have in the museum of Sukhothai. And that spread to Ayutthaya and later to our present-day Ratanakosin period. This is the Devasatan of the capital city. It's the shrine of the gods, as the Brahmins like to put it. It's set in a line from north to south, on a north-south axis, as Dr. Krishnan showed us the other day. The same idea, with the images, all facing east. This was seen as necessary to establish a Devasatan in a capital city, so that we have a Brahmin sanctuary as a center for royal ceremonies to boost public morale and create good fortune for the kingdom. And of course, our Ratanakosin period was established by Rama I in 1782. While building his capital on Ratanakosin Island. In the Devasatan, from left to right, we have a Brahma statue. This is a chapel to Shiva. This center one is a chapel to Ganesh, and the last one over here is a chapel to Vishnu. These are two of the most important Brahmins. By the way, there's only 15 Brahmins left in Thailand out of 36 original families. And the gentleman on the left is our chief Brahmin, the Ratchakru. And the one on the right, Brahmin Chan, is the one I talk to simply because his English is excellent. What are the purposes of the Brahmins? They protect the monarchy through 12 annual ceremonies. However, only really 3 of these ceremonies are now presented. They enhance the Devaraja concept and this enhances the prestige and the influence of the monarchy. They preserve ritual purity. So they do an awful lot of study of the Vedas and all of the Hindu texts in the ancient languages, in addition to Sanskrit, to learn the proper procedures to make the sacred lustral water and purification aspects of the royal ceremonies. They perform deeds of merit, they teach Brahmanism, and they provide counsel to kings on palace rules, royal traditions, law, astrological information, and provide auspicious dates for ceremonies. This is rather important right now because it's, for instance, 70 years since we have had a coronation, and several generations of royal courtiers and so forth have come and gone. So preserving these ceremonies is very important for us. If you want to be a Brahmin, I'm afraid it's very selective. You have to be born into the Brahmin male line of those 36 families. You have to be well versed in the Vedas and other scriptures. You should be good looking with burnished skin, kind of a dark golden-hued skin, no kidding. You should be virtuous and composed. Practice the 4 Promvihan, or the divine abidings, i.e. loving kindness, or metta, compassion, karuna, sympathetic joy, mudita, and equanimity, or ubeka, and the 5 Buddhist precepts. By the way, the Brahmins here are not pure Indian stock. They are intermarried with Thais. And also, they are expected to learn Buddhism and even to be Buddhist monks for at least a rainy season. They wear, like the Brahmin the chief Brahmin we met the other day, they dress in white, as you can see, Brahmin Chan is wearing. They wear their hair in a bun, although our Brahmins wear their bun in the back rather than on top. And they refrain from eating beef, and they are appointed to their position as Brahmins by the king. Here we have the Devaraja principle, which permeates all aspects of royal life. This is an example is the Amarin throne hall. The kings are seen, for instance, as avatars of Vishnu. And since the reign of Rama VI, they are all styled as Rama first, second, third, etc., which is far easier for the English-speaking people. The palace is seen as a heavenly abode. If he is a Devaraja, a god king, he must live in the heavens. So we see within we see all of the aspects which denote this as being a heavenly place. Stars on the ceiling, the clouds here with devas cavorting. The shape of the throne follows the Hindu cosmology as we see in all Brahmin temples. The royal umbrellas and the various regalia of state all come through the Khmer Empire. We've gotten all of this from the Khmer. The various gods of the Hindu pantheon are represented in our architecture. For instance, the Naga and the Garuda are often displayed on the buildings. The throne, as I mentioned, is also a kind of replica of Mount Meru, Mount Sumeru. We will see in the next slide the royal urn. There is also a special royal language when addressing the king and other royalty that we must use. Cup with the jiao, this is what a man would say, for instance, when addressing the king. So there's all of this enhances the higher status of the king, that we have to use special language to him. If we refer to the king as going somewhere, we say he's Sadet Barachadamnern, which is also from Khmer language. There's special obeisances, which we call grab, which is prostration on the floor, and a special kind of hand flick that goes like that. All the royal titles, for instance, the idea of keeping the bloodlines pure in the old, I'd say in the last century, the kings would marry their half-sisters. Even King Rama V, his first 3 queens were his half-sisters, because it was believed that would keep the royal blood purer, so that their children could be celestial princes, or princesses, and the princes, the celestial princes, could therefore be heirs to the throne, whereas wives of lower level, who are not royal, their children would have very much lower titles, and so on. So there's a whole slew of royal titles. For instance, my husband is Mam Chao, which is the lowest of the royal titles. After that, the children, the descendants are no longer considered royal. My children are Mamrachuong, and they're no longer considered royal. Here we have the Dusit Throne Hall with the royal urn of the late king. Sorry, the formatting doesn't come out so well on this computer. But here we see the royal urn. By the way, the late king's body is not in the urn, it is in a coffin in back. But this custom also is of Brahmin influence, and it comes from Cambodia. The altar on which it sits, again, represents the Hindu cosmology. This cloth that comes down this way is called Papu Sayong. And this, when this is a way of accruing merit to the deceased. It's attached, in this case, it will be attached to the coffin in back. And then when the monks come, the cloth will be extended, because it's in an accordion shape. It will be extended and placed in front of the monks on stanchions, so to prevent it from hitting the floor, which would be very unlucky. And the monks will receive offerings, give prayers, and so forth, and the merit made will then accrue to the deceased king. Also, this shape is considered, this shape here is called a prasad. And any royal residence or royal throne hall will have this shape, and they're all called Mahaprasad, Dusit Mahaprasad, Amarin Mahaprasad, etc. All right, this one I need a little bit of help, because we're going to show you several of the royal ceremonies. This one, again, all for the protection and enhancement of the royalty. This is a 4-minute clip of the coronation of Rama VII back in 1925. And one of the things that we will see a number of practices that refer to the Devaraja principle. Now, the king has left the Barompiman Palace, and he is heading in state with the royal umbrella, as you can see here. He is going to the Amarin throne hall, which is here. He steps onto a platform. And he moves down into the throne hall. Now we'll see the several ceremonies. Here is a court Brahmin handing the king lustral water that's been duly, properly made to anoint himself, plus matum leaves as a symbol of Brahma, the creation of good things. Here he's often offered a special whisk to wipe himself, ceremonial. Now we see ceremonial strings being that he will put on his head for good luck. This is probably attached to the Buddha image. One of the most important aspects of the coronation is a ceremonial bath, again to enhance the idea of purification before he actually takes the throne. And if you saw those drums very momentarily, those come from originally from the Cham in Vietnam. And again, the Brahmins basically perform this ceremony. Here's another court Brahmin. Now he's sitting on what is called the octagonal throne, 8-sided throne. He washes his face. He will drink some of this water as well. And now we will have the crowning. You'll notice when he is handed the crown, he will crown himself. There's no one higher who can crown him. It's not like in the West where the Pope will crown a king. The king crowns himself. You see the special hand flick the man performed while helping the king with the crown. The Queen Rampai, was also crowned by him. He anoints her with lustral water. And she too will be given the matum leaves. And he will anoint her with a paste to symbolize the Trinity, the Brahmin Trinity. Now they will go in procession to Wat Phra Kaew, which is a very short distance, 2 minutes away. Okay. This is the Wien Tayan ceremony on Coronation Day. This is also conducted by Brahmins, and everybody stands in a line around their majesties in the middle. Of course, this is when His Majesty the late king was still alive. And here are the Brahmins preparing the various articles to be used in the ceremony. They prepare these candelabra on which each one 3 candles are placed. We stand in a line. By the way, this is my husband right here. And we stand in a line, and when we receive, it goes in a clockwise position. 9 of these candelabra will be passed around in clockwise position 3 times. And when we receive the candelabra, we do this. 1, 2, 3. And then we waft the smoke. And this is all to bring blessing to the king. This is done on Coronation Day, and of course, this year we have no Coronation Day until after the cremation and coronation of the late king and the coronation of the new king. While this is going on, the Brahmins here will beat their drums. This is an example of a Brahmin drum right here. It's a very small thing, goes big bok, big bok, big bok. And they blow conch shells. Now we're going to look at more scenes from the royal plowing ceremony. This was last year when he was still the crown prince. He was officiating at the ceremony, and we find the head of the ceremony here dressed in a conical hat, a conical headdress, which also derives from the Khmer practice, and he will give the highest obeisance to the king, in this case, the crown prince. He's called the Prayaragna, and it's the Brahmin priests who will determine the proper day for this. And each country that does this, the Cambodians, Khmer, and Burma and Thai, they all do this ceremony, and each of their Brahmins determines a slightly different day. So this will open the ceremony. Then there are these royal oxen. There's all kinds of auspicious signs that these oxen must have, proper color for their skin and the shape of their horns, and also the color of their eyes and so forth. The Brahmins have to determine are the correct to be used. And here they're being hitched up to the plow. And they are going to plow 10 furrows. And I couldn't get a picture of all of them together, but the Brahmin priests here will head the procession over here, and they will sprinkle lustral water on the furrows, and they will blow the conch shells and play the drums. They will be followed then by the oxen here, and the handlers, and the Prayaragna, which is over here, and the celestial maidens. These are ladies who are carrying baskets full of rice, consecrated rice. They will have the day before a ceremony to consecrate all these objects in Wat Pah Khao. The chief Brahmin will then walk behind. This year he walked in back of them, but this picture he's walking in front of those celestial maidens. And here's what the Prayaragna does. He distributes the seeds, the rice seeds, all throughout the 10 furrows that will be done. The whole point of this ceremony is to ensure a good harvest and to have a good economy. Also, agricultural awards are given out to deserving farmers and so forth. An important part of the ceremony is for the Brahmin bulls to be able to choose what to eat, because what they choose to eat will determine the nature of the harvest. And there's 7 items on a tray, and they can choose grass, paddy, maize, sesame seeds, soybean, water, and liquor. So the Brahmins will determine what they ate first and so forth. And the handlers will move these trays around, so it's not like they're just presenting one thing to them. After the king leaves, people will rush out to get these rice seeds, because it's believed that it's very auspicious if they plant them with their rice crops. And every year we get a booklet that explains the ceremony in Thai, and packets of rice seeds, which I usually give to my staff, and they give it to their families. This last is, you already saw this from our colleague who presented from Laos. These same lanterns, that are all throughout the north of Thailand and in Chiang Mai, these sky lanterns called Kom, to celebrate Yipeng, as they call it in Chiang Mai, and Loi Krathong in Bangkok. This ceremony is of Brahmin and Hindu origin to wash away evil. And of course, we got this through the Khmer in Sukhothai, Ayutthaya, and Ratanakosin. And that's all I have time for. Thank you very much.